Hi there, and welcome to the Return Homestead. We have been trying to either buy locally, grow, or make the things that we are currently purchasing. We're trying to stay out of the big box stores. If you watched last week's video, Mike dispatched a couple of roosters, and I am going to be using them to make dog food for Sunshine. Now, we have always fed her a high quality kibble, and take that for what it's worth. And she hasn't touched it since I started making her food. I don't blame her. A lot of the things that are in those dog foods really aren't good for them. I've had a lot of people ask me if there was enough protein in there for her, and I believe there is. She's thriving right now. She waits very patiently for her breakfast and her dinner. So I'm going to show you what I do, and you can alter this recipe however you want. I am using a grain, which is white rice. She loves white rice. And in the crock pot cooking, and it's already been shredded, is one of the chickens we dispatched last week. Now, I add eggs to her kibble, and I like to add them raw because as it cooks, it incorporates better within the mixture that I have. We skinned the rooster that we're using, so it's not super high in fat, but it's got just enough, and I did cook the rice in the broth, some of it. So to the rooster that I have in here, that I've now shredded, I have the broth. I'm going to add 10 eggs. Now you can add as many or as little eggs as you want. And I'm just going to stir that in. I am not going to feed her raw eggs. These will end up cooking. Now Sunshine loves brassicas, and they're good for her. So I've got some kale that I froze from last year. So to the chicken broth and chicken, I'm going to add a couple handfuls of frozen kale. This we grew last year in the garden, and Sunshine loves her brassicas. If you let her loose in the garden, she picks her own. Now I have some carrots that I have grated up, and this is 1.5 cups. And I'm going to add those. They're frozen from last year. I also blanched and froze some sweet potatoes. She loves them. And they're not bad for her. So I'm going to add those as well. In this pan, I have 4 cups of rice. Now you can choose to add grains or not. Sunshine likes her grains. This is already cooked. I cooked it up this morning. And I'll add just enough to make it a more solid food, so it's not soupy. These sweet potatoes will defrost in here, and then I'll mash them up and remove the skins. It's probably fine to feed her the skins, but I removed them. So this was a little rooster. I don't think I'm going to need all 4 cups. And I'm going to let this cook until all the other ingredients are unfrozen. I'm going to let these cook for a while. And then I will put them in portions, wrap them up, stick them in the freezer. And then basically what I do is every night I pull out 2. She eats twice a day. She does have kibble down that she can get it when she wants it. So now that all my ingredients are in here, I'm going to let the frozen veggies come up to heat. You could defrost them the night before, I don't do that. I'm a lazy cook, I admit it. But I'm going to let these heat up just a bit so that it's incorporated into the whole mixture. This is what you end up with. So now that I have all my ingredients in, they're starting to defrost and get incorporated. And once this is completed, then what I'll do is I will dish this up in quarter cups for her. She's only 6 pounds. It doesn't take a lot of food for her. So this amount of food will last her 2-3 weeks. And then we've got more roosters in the freezer. So we don't mind raising them because this is a sustainable way to feed your pets. This is much better for her than what you could give her in a bag. And this is food you could eat. This looks good, it smells good, and she now loves it. So she hardly ever touches the kibble. It's there if she wants it, but that's a rare thing. Sunshine was a rescue that we found. She was found on the freeway in San Francisco, and at the time she was just teeny tiny. She was only this big. And some people picked her up, took her to a vet, had her checked, and brought her up to South Lake Tahoe, where we were contacted and asked if we wanted a puppy, and of course we couldn't resist. So we went up and got her, and she's been with us now for 7 years. This is the best food we've made for her to date. Now you can feed raw chicken to the dogs. I don't like doing that. I'd have to feed her outside. I wouldn't want the smell inside. But this is a better way for me to feed my dog. Now that my mixture is all done, I'm using a 1/4 cup measuring cup. Sunshine only weighs 6 pounds, so you'll have to adjust this to your animal. And I'm going to stick these in the freezer and flash freeze them. Once they're done, I'll put them in a big bag and they'll be ready to go daily. So I have to do this about once every 2 to 3 weeks. This big batch, see on this cookie sheet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is 6 days, and I still have most of a crock pot to go. So I hope this video shows you that you can make your own dog food. You don't have to go to a big box store and buy kibble, which a lot of the ingredients in there aren't any better for you than if you were going down to eat Twinkies or something like that. So I like to feed her well. She is thriving on this. She loves everything that I've put in here, and you'll have to alter your recipe to fit your pet. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I want to encourage you to shop local or make it yourself. Until we see you next time, thank you, God bless, and bye-bye.